Please remain upstanding for the anthems of Zimbabwe, Sadc, and the African Union.
My singular honor and privilege to welcome you to the 7th annual Sadc Industrialization Week, hosted by the government of Zimbabwe in collaboration with the Sadc Secretariat, with the Sadc Business Council, and with our own CZI. This week marks a significant milestone in our journey as a region towards sustainable economic growth and development. Your Excellency, as you assume the chairmanship of Sadc, it marks exactly 10 years since the region front-loaded the industrialization agenda here in Zimbabwe. We are excited that coincidentally, the review of the industrialization milestones will be coming back to Harare during your chairmanship. The Sadc Industrialization Week serves as a vital platform for fostering new trade opportunities, regional investment and collaboration among member countries. We are pleased to host distinguished policymakers, industry leaders, entrepreneurs here present, and investors to chart a path towards an industrialized Sadc. I wish to acknowledge the critical role that the private sector continues to play in the industrialization agenda to bring about the much-needed structural transformation in the region. We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the relentless support given by our BMOs through the Sadc Business Council, which provides an opportunity for private sector participation in the implementation of various Sadc policies and strategies. Regional integration remains a key pillar of our industrialization strategy. We acknowledge that by working together, we can leverage on our collective strength, pool resources, and create synergies that drive economic growth and development. It is essential that we build resilient supply chains that enhance our competitiveness in the global market. As we embark on this week-long event, we will also focus on promoting green and sustainable industries, recognizing the importance of environmental stewardship and the imperative to mitigate the impacts of climate change. By embracing green technologies, renewable energy, and sustainable practices, we can and will achieve industrial growth while safeguarding our natural resources for future generations. To delegates here gathered, let us foster collaboration, research and development, and technology transfer. That way, we can leapfrog into the realms of advanced manufacturing, smart industries, and high value-added products. I conclude by once again welcoming you all to Zimbabwe, a world of wonders. Find time for some excursions in and around the capital city, Harare. You will meet some of the most hospitable people on planet Earth. From the beautiful flora and fauna, to ice skating, to horse riding, rhino feeding, you name it. All these are within 45 minutes drive from your present location. Welcome to Zimbabwe. Zikomo, I thank you.
Thank you. Another big round of
applause. Is a culmination of a series of efforts that seek to bring into focus an integral dynamic in the economic development of our region. I want to welcome all delegates and exhibitors to Zimbabwe, a world of wonders, and a land of limitless possibilities. I also express my gratitude to the organizers of the 7th Sadc Industrialization Week for the splendid job that they've done. 6 days will never be enough to fully express and explore the industrialization vision of our regional bloc. The quality of exhibitions and discussions here are at a microcosm of the steps we are taking towards that vision. I applaud and congratulate each and everyone who is playing a part in this event for bringing that vision to life. Needless to say, Your Excellency, the theme of the 7th Sadc Industrialization Week, which I want to quote, promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustainable economic growth and development towards an industrialized SADC, unquote, is relevant and timely as it resonates very well with the growing trend in the global economic ecosystem, where nations are placing innovation at the center of the economic growth, development and industrialization. The high quality of delegates and exhibitors who have graced this 7th Sadc Industrialization Week to cross-pollinate initiatives that will spur our economic development to new heights has buttressed and spurred the realization of the vision for the individual and the collective benefit of our countries. Without an iota of doubt, I want to believe that the event creates a marketplace of ideas, of insights, connections, and networks which advance the region's economic integration and industrialization agenda. Your Excellency, Honorable Vice President, distinguished delegates, the SADC Protocol on Trade, at its inception in 1996, already incorporated the view that market integration through the elimination of tariffs on its own was not the best approach. It had to be accompanied by an industrialization strategy for the region, which would create an environment that fosters sustained and equitable growth and progress within the region. You will recall, to fulfill this long-held idea, Zimbabwe introduced the industrialization agenda during the 34th SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government held in Victoria Falls soon after assuming the chairmanship of our esteemed regional body. This culminated in the development and adoption of the SADC industrialization strategy and roadmap, which is aligned to Africa's economic blueprint, which we all know, Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. I am happy to note that our leaders continue to prioritize the industrialization agenda. Since then, successive SADC summits and summits themes have continued to carry a common message that emphasizes the need for the region to industrialize and transform into a competitive community for improved lives and livelihoods of SADC citizens. Your Excellency, it is salient to mention that for the past 10 years, the region has been implementing the industrialization strategy and roadmap, beginning with the first phase, which ran from 2015 to 2020. The second phase, which is aligned to the SADC's Vision 2050, is running from 2021 to 2050. I commend member states, the SADC secretariat, the private sector for continuing to exert themselves to ensure the full implementation of this important development program. As we continue with this journey, we must always recognize that the private sector is a vital cog in both the development of infrastructure and industrialization processes. However, this is not without challenges. As you are all aware, some of the outputs for phase one are yet to be completed. This requires resilience. I therefore implore member states, the SADC secretariat, the private sector, players to all redouble efforts in ensuring that set targets are met as we work towards transforming the region into a highly industrialized community leaving no country behind. Your Excellency, it is exciting to note that the 7th Sadc Industrialization Week made deliberate efforts to incorporate our micro, small, and medium enterprises to showcase their products and services. This is coming at a time when MSMEs, as well as entrepreneurship, are on the spotlight, not only in the region, but also globally. Suffice to say, considering the entrepreneurial nature of our economies, bringing SMEs on board gives impetus to the efforts to help them make inroads regionally, and therefore a development model that is inclusive and integrates this reality and nurtures the SMEs will ensure that the Sadc region achieves more sustainable industrial growth. In order to ensure that the SMEs thrive in the zero-sum economic landscape, where everyone is vying for the same market, there is need for us to invest in human and financial capital if we are to support their growth. You will agree that the efforts we spare in creating and enabling environment for foreign direct investments should equally be spared in creating and enabling environment for domestic investors, big or small, because the emergence of a strong and competitive small and medium-sized enterprise sector will accelerate sustainable industrialization and spur economic growth and development. Your Excellency, it is an established fact that roughly half of the world's vanadium, platinum, diamonds originate in the region, along with 36% of gold and 20% of cobalt. The region is also endowed with important natural resources such as petroleum, natural gas, hydropower. However, despite these huge mineral deposits, we have not fully transformed our economies because after extraction, the minerals are highly exported in raw form due to the lack of technologies to beneficiate them. I recall the theme of the 34th Summit of the Sadc Heads of State and Government that was held at Victoria Falls, as I mentioned earlier, in 2014. And that theme was Sadc Strategy for Economic Transformation, leveraging the regional diverse resources for substantial economic and social development through value addition and beneficiation, unquote. The theme remains as relevant as it was in 2014. In this vein, it is imperative that we shy away from the old economic model of resource extraction only and promote the development of value addition. Therefore, it is critical to put science, technology, and development and innovation to the fore for all efforts at economic development if we are to optimally benefit from the abundant resources that our region is endowed with. Value addition and beneficiation will spur industrialization, create quality jobs, and high returns from the export of finished products. Your Excellency, I am happy to appraise you that your host, the President, Dr. Mnangagwa, is confident of the need to invest in science, technology, and innovation for economic development. The President introduced innovation hubs across institutions of higher learning, which are the seeds for the rapid industrialization and modernization through the local production of goods and services. The innovation hubs are melting pots where heterogeneous creative minds meet and collaborate. Arguably, the best inventions are as a result of the cross-pollination of ideas. I am informed that this plenary was preceded by a session which discussed the most topical trading matter on the African continent and far afield, the African Continental Free Trade Area. Let me hasten to say, as we work towards ensuring the goal of economic integration and industrialization become a concrete reality, we should put emphasis on the development of regional value chains in leather, in cotton, in automotive, pharmaceuticals, and agro-processing sectors, among others. These are the same value chains that are being championed under the AfCFTA, and as such, once we have developed regional value chains in certain economic sectors, we will have a competitive advantage when trading with other regions under the AfCFTA. We, at all times, have to remember that the overarching goal of the AfCFTA is to boost intra-African trade and should guide us accordingly. We therefore have to produce the goods and services that we have to trade amongst ourselves. The nexus between industrialization and infrastructure development cannot be overemphasized. A deficit in infrastructure poses a serious challenge to industrialization. According to the African Development Bank, Africa's infrastructure needs or requires between $130 to $170 billion a year, with a financing gap of between 68 and 108 billion. It is therefore quite apparent that we need to invest more in infrastructure in our endeavor to speed up industrialization. We must also be cognizant of the fact that infrastructure development must include capacities for digital connectivity and innovative business processes to reap the digital bonus of the development. Nonetheless, we should be alive to the fact that to achieve sustainable growth, infrastructure development must be accompanied by enhanced infrastructure and human resources capacity to sustain and improve growth. In conclusion, I want to exhort us all to always be alert to the fact that the global shocks of geopolitical tensions, climate, food shortages, and the energy crisis call for a strong African position within the global geopolitical economy. This starts with us in our regional body, the SADC. Climate-smart industrialization will take us to the level of inclusive development that we want to be at this stage. Today, as SADC, we can do it, and I want to emphasize that we can do it. I thank you.
Thank you very much, our Director of Ceremony. Your Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and our incoming chairperson of SADC, the Honorable General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson or the Chairman of the Politburo, Your Excellency Ambassador Frederick Shava, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and the incoming Chairperson of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Honorable Ngobizita Ndlovu, the Minister of Industry and Commerce of the Republic of Zimbabwe, all honorable ministers and deputy ministers from both Zimbabwe and the Sadc region in our midst, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, high commissioners, and members of the diplomatic corps, representatives of international cooperating partners, as well as development finance institutions, our staff from the secretariat and from the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, our colleagues from the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Allow me to express my profound gratitude to His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, the incoming chairperson of SADC, for honoring the invitation to officially open the 7th Sadc Industrialization Week and exhibition. Your gesture, Your Excellency, is a clear testament to your dedication, commitment, and immense value that you attach to the Sadc industrialization agenda. Let me recognize His Honor, the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Chiwenga, and all other dignitaries in our midst. I would like to thank you all for accepting our invitation to attend this Industrialization Week, among all other pressing matters you could be doing this week. Special thanks go to the people and the government of this Republic for their usual generous reception and hospitality extended to us since our arrival here in Harare, and for graciously hosting this event today. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Industrialization Week, as was said earlier, is a decision of the Sadc Council of Ministers made on the 27th of August in 2016 in Eswatini, that the Industrialization Week should be held annually as a forerunner to the ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government. The intention was to build coalitions to enhance understanding and cooperation among stakeholders on how to implement the SADC Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap of 2015 to 2063. The event also serves to enhance engagement on the implementation of the industrialization strategy at both national and regional levels, encouraging regional companies, youth, women's participation to showcase their innovations as well as learn from each other. This 7th industrialization segment is a partnership between the SADC Secretariat, the Republic of Zimbabwe, the SADC Business Council, and the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries, among others, offering a platform and opportunity to interact and share experiences on how best to deliver industrialization and structural transformation to the region's economies. This year's theme, as was pronounced by Honorable Shava, highlights the importance of innovation in the industrialization continuum as defined in the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2020-2030 and the SADC Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap. The pillar 1 of the RSDP, which focuses on industrial development, leverages science, technology, and innovation to unlock and exploit the region's industrial potential. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the Secretariat developed the Protocol on Science, Technology, and Innovation in 2008 to foster cooperation and promote development, transfer, and mastery of science, technology, and innovation in the member states. The consolidated report on the implementation of this protocol concluded this March this year shows a decent start to the implementation since it came into force 7 years ago. It highlights increased awareness about the protocol in member states, especially within government, regulators, scientists, businesses, and the media. The protocol continues to serve as a useful guide to strengthen regional cooperation and integration in Southern Africa. This week-long event mainly focuses on private sector development through exhibitions, parallel sessions that have unique themes and focus, takes stock of the gains so far made, the challenges encountered along the way, and how we respond appropriately, as well as opportunities that the industrialization provides for the region to take advantage of. There are sessions on science and innovation, business opportunities, agribusiness, energy infrastructure development, in support of regional integration and promotion of value chains. Other sessions include sustainable energy investments, the internationalization of startups and SMEs in Sadc, regional and continental trade, sustainable mining, standards and accreditation, all of which are geared towards regional economic development through sustainable and inclusive industrialization. As I conclude, Your Excellency, allow me to highlight a few areas I consider critical to the pursuit of and the ultimate realization of industrialization in our region. They are certainly not exhaustive, but they can boost the industrialization agenda in my view. First, member states should develop policies and regulations that actually and truly drive industrialization. They must enable industry in the true sense of the word. Enable industry in the true sense of the word, and not just simply to talk about it. Second, a deliberate focus must be placed on the creation of and support to market access for those businesses and industries pursuing and leading the industrialization effort. Real and meaningful access to markets is the oxygen that these businesses need to survive and also to achieve scale. Without it, they will suffocate and perish, which is the outcome I believe we all dread. As they say, charity begins at home, in the member states themselves, I believe. In my view, we must, and we must underline this, we must love, buy, and consume these products and accept that the reality that quality and productivity should be a welcome hurdle and learning platform at the beginning, rather than using the hurdle to condemn and bury such products or businesses. Third, we should understand the main reason why we are industrializing. And Honorable Shava has touched on a number of these. It is one of the main things to make sure that no products leave the region without value addition. That way, we not only create the much-needed jobs locally and make the real contribution to the GDP, to the region's GDP, but also we are sharing our knowledge, expertise, and unique gifts with the rest of the world, as well as adding our own mark to the global value chains. Fourth, and lastly, both member states and the secretariat must engage directly with businesses and industry, for the latter are the ones creating and adding value and industrializing, as it were. We must not talk about them as we often do. Rather, we should talk to them at every forum dedicated to this very subject of industrialization. These businesses and industries, in my view, ought to be at the discussion and the strategizing table, guiding us on what they require to exploit value chains, add value, and truly substitute imports and create jobs. As I close, I wish to underscore that a lot still remains to be done to promote the Sadc Industrialization agenda. Everyone present here today and this week demonstrate our collective commitment to take the regional integration agenda to greater heights through economic and technological transformation of Sadc economies. I believe that it is a perfect coincidence, Your Excellency, or God's plan, as it were, that we are holding the Sadc Industrialization Week here in Zimbabwe. We are indeed in the right location, recalling, as Honorable Shava said earlier, that the Republic of Zimbabwe championed the Sadc Industrialization agenda during its chairing of the Sadc in 2014, leading to the adoption by the April 2015 Extraordinary Summit of the Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap of 2015 to 2063. The Republic is again assuming the chair of Sadc next month, and we look forward to His Excellency Dr. Mnangagwa's leadership and conviction to drive the industrialization agenda further and lead by example. The Secretariat is ready to support and enable Your Excellency to lead us in this regard. With these few remarks, I wish you all fruitful deliberations. I thank you for your kind attention. Muito obrigada, merci beaucoup, asante sana, zikomo, yaleboha.
May, Executive Secretary, I just liked your last points. Policies and regulations that actually and truly drive industrialization. The creation and support to market access for business, real and meaningful access. We must love, buy, and consume our own products. I'm sure Sadc Ministers of Finance would like that. It cuts down the import bill for the Executive Secretary of Sadc. I'd now like to call upon our next speaker. Now please help me in joining the welcoming here to the podium for remarks and introduction of the guest of honor, Honorable General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Honorable Vice President.
Director of Ceremonies, Mr. Andy Hodges, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Colonel Retired Kembo Dugush Moadi, in absentia, the Minister of Defense and Chairman of the ruling party ZANU-PF, Honorable Pachamu Zvipange Mchinguri Kashiri, Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Charles Tavengwa, Honorable the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable Mangariso Ndlovu, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable Frederick Shawa, Honorable Ministers here present, Executive Secretary, Sadc Secretariat, His Excellency Elias Mangosi, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, all protocols observed. Good morning to you all. It is my singular honor to introduce the guest of honor today as we gather to mark the official opening of the 7th Annual Sadc Industrialization Week. On behalf of the government of Zimbabwe, in collaboration with the Southern African Development Community Secretariat, the Sadc Business Council, and the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries, CZI, I extend a warm welcome to you all. Sadc Industrialization Week holds a special place in our hearts as it serves as a business engagement platform, bringing together key stakeholders from across the Sadc region. This event is a testament to our collective commitment to foster new intra-African trade and regional investment opportunities, as well as advancing the economic integration and growth of our nations. Let me hasten to say that boosting investment in the country has been one of our top priorities, championed by our guest of honor through the mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business. And indeed, Southern Africa Development Community is also open for business. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this year's event, promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustainable economic growth and development towards an industrialized Sadc, captures our guest of honor's vision and aspirations. It highlights the importance of innovation in driving economic growth, creating employment opportunities, and improving the quality of life for our people. Through embracing innovation, we can unlock the vast potential that lies within our region and pave the way for a prosperous and sustainable future. Our guest of honor belongs to the first generation of Zimbabwe's trained and colonial combatants, who played a pivotal role in liberating Zimbabwe from the yoke of colonialism. His drive now is to ensure economic emancipation, not only for Zimbabwe, but the whole of the Sadc region. Through his transformative agenda of becoming an upper middle income society by 2030, He has managed to positively steer industry and commerce, spurring production in key sectors that include mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, and infrastructural development. His development philosophy of leaving no one and no place behind has been a game changer in transforming the livelihoods of ordinary Zimbabweans across the country. Further to that, the adoption of a deliberate policy to utilize local expertise through his mantra, Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, translated to mean a country is built by its own people, no one else but the people of Zimbabwe. And the country's resource endowments has proved to be a masterstroke in revitalizing industry in Zimbabwe. Hence, the emergence of highly competent companies, particularly in the construction sector. With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, allow me the opportunity to call upon our guest of honor, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to address us and officially open the 7th annual Sadc Industrialization Week. Your Excellency.
Deputy Ministers who are here, the Executive Secretary for Sadc, Secretariat, His Excellency Elias Mangosi, His Excellency Wamkelas who are here, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. On behalf of the government and people of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, it is my singular honor and privilege to officially welcome you to this 7th annual Sadc Industrialization Week, being hosted under the theme, and I quote, promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustainable economic growth and development towards an industrialized Sadc, end of quote. This event, which is a precursor to the Sadc Heads of State and Government Summit and the largest public-private engagement platform, aims at fostering new opportunities for intra-African trade and investment in the Southern Africa region. I congratulate the Southern African Development Community Sadc Secretariat, the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industry CZI, and the Sadc Business Council, along with responsible ministries, departments, and agencies of the Zimbabwean government for putting together an exceptional and transformational showcase. Given the vast natural resource endowments and the youthful population on our African continent, and the Sadc region in particular, it is a misnomer that we continue to lose substantial revenue through exporting unprocessed goods and resources from our region. It is on this background that 10 years ago, we resolved here in Zimbabwe to front-load the Sadc Industrialization agenda. It therefore beckons all of us, governments, industry and development partners alike, to give impetus to the accelerated development of industry. Through our unity of purpose, complementary and intertwined strategies, we are determined to realize a rapid socio-economic development and a higher quality of life in our countries and the region that leave no one and no place behind. This is in line with targets of the African Union's Agenda 2063, which include transformation and enhancing overall productivity for the growth and industrialization of our African economies. Further, this year's Industrialization Week amplifies the urgent need for member states to embrace innovation as a way to boost industrial productivity and competitiveness. Individually and collectively, we have a duty to spur sustainable growth through a sound and diversified industrial base with wide-ranging new products and jobs for our people. Distinguished guests, modernization and industrialization of our economies is no longer a luxury, but a matter of necessity for the future we all want and we deserve. The rich liberation heritage of our region reminds us how unity and singleness of purpose realized political independence and freedom in our region. Presently, the contestations for neo-imperialistic subjugation of our countries are being fought in the economic domain. We must therefore never fall asleep. The present generation has a duty and obligation to foster environments and synergies that leapfrog industrialization, create more jobs, produce value-added goods, as well as increase exports and export earnings for our region. Equally, we must improve efficiencies in our resource allocation and create the requisite linkages across all sectors of our economies to drive this noble and urgent agenda for our region. For the Sadc region to propel the industrialization initiative, we cannot work in silos, both in terms of in-country or cross-border cooperation. Hence, by and large, there is need for our national development strategies to be in sync with the broader development agenda in our region. As such, agriculture and agribusiness, along with our regional energy, water, transport, and port infrastructure, as well as trade routes, should be developed in a collaborative manner. Greater commitment must be demonstrated by all stakeholders to the full implementation of our policies, such as the regional indicative Strategic Development Plan. As it was during the liberation struggle, we are separate countries, but one region with one common future. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, our Sadc region has immense potential to accelerate the structural transformation of our economies, anchored on increased production and productivity. It is critically important, therefore, to scale up the domestication of regional value chains towards our entry into global value chains. As an outcome of this event, we must see clear benchmarks and targets. Key in this regard is the need to expand production possibilities through enhanced cross-border utilization of natural and human capital resources of our region. To ensure the successful implementation of the Sadc Industrialization strategy, member states must increase investments in technology, innovation, as well as research and development. In this regard, we must repurpose our yesteryear institutions to be more relevant for the world of the future. Fundamentally, our education systems should be repurposed to bridge the technology gap and the current global trends to enable the Sadc region to be more competitive in the workplace. Let us be deliberate, systematic, and surgically focused to graduate from being factor-driven to investment-driven, and ultimately knowledge-based economies. This can never be magical, but an incremental, step-by-step, brick upon brick, and a stone upon stone process. In the case of Zimbabwe, we have ushered in a new education philosophy through the adoption of the heritage-based education 5.0 policy. This focuses on science, technology, and innovation, and the production of goods and services as the bedrock of our national development agenda. These seen innovation hubs and agro-industrial parks within all our institutions of higher learning, producing a new range of products for both the local and export markets. I challenge the private sector, small and medium enterprises, along with development partners, both in our country and the region at large, not to be mere spectators, but to have confidence in the capabilities of our young people by supporting the commercialization of innovative products, prototypes, and new ideas by these young people. We, the older generation, are setting the pace for you to excel for your country. Backward and forward linkages must see the creation of centers of excellency in science and technology, which enables sound research for modern industrial processes and accelerated industrialization. We should stop admiring things elsewhere. Admire our own situation and improve it. Further, the private sector and other stakeholders must move beyond the policy and advocacy towards increased support for African-based entrepreneurship. We look forward to a time when the private sector engages government on assistance with regards promoting locally produced technologies, machinery, and equipment. There must always be dialogue between the private sector and the public, government and the private sector, not competition. Blended with our need to realize healthy rewards must be the due inclination to support and fund research and development for capacity building programs that equip our local people with the skills for emerging industries in the modern world. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, over and above revamping our education systems, it is imperative for member states to fully embrace the global ICT revolution. As Africa and the Sadc region, ICT penetration must not merely be celebrated for enabling social interactions, but transcend into every sector of the economy. We must see greater efficiencies and cost savings in our modernization and industrialization processes through modern ICT, hard and soft infrastructure. Our younger generation has the capacity if we give them the freedom to dream. On its part, my government continues to provide an environment that encourages a conducive ICT and innovation ecosystem. ICT training has been mainstreamed into the whole continuum of our education system from primary up to tertiary level. Meanwhile, the development of advanced ICT infrastructure, as well as support for innovation and development of new ICT software by our young entrepreneurs is ongoing. We allow our young people, our boys and girls who are talented, to dream and dream for good or bad. I urge member states and the stakeholders across our region to scale up transformation of our domestic industries. Let us not shy away or delay embracing latest developments in emerging industries, underlining the fourth industrial revolution. These include artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, and the use of renewable energy, among others. Greater innovation must be deployed to lower the unit costs of production, enhance information exchange, and lower transaction costs to further help our economies to develop new value chains while strengthening existing ones. The time has come for industry to become mature and seize the crybaby mentality of the past. However, it is an acknowledged reality that the industrial sector in Africa faces challenges in accessing affordable and long-term finance. We all know that the philosophy of finance did not originate in Africa. Anyhow, this has in turn curtailed and retarded modernization of Africa's industrial base. For us in Zimbabwe, limitations in this regard have been worsened by the illegal economic sanctions imposed on our motherland, Zimbabwe, for the love of our land. We don't regret. Given the scale of finances needed to ensure the success of our regional industrialization agenda, we must think outside the box for innovative financing models. Focus must remain on what we have and what we control. This being the use of our domestic resources to propel our industrialization and development agenda. The weighty obligation to build, develop, and industrialize our economies lies with us, the people of this region, Sadc, and our continent, Africa, and not beyond. The need to formalize and operationalize the Sadc Regional Development Fund has become urgent. Similarly, domestic pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and other public-private sector frameworks must be deployed to play a more pivotal role in the implementation of our industrialization agenda. In addition, the financial services sector is called upon to provide responsive financial packages that facilitate our collective quest for an industrialized Sadc region. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, as the current crop of leaders within the Sadc region and Africa in general, we are committed to the industrialization agenda and intra-African trade. We will, therefore, continue to create an enabling fiscal policy and regulatory environment with a particular focus on cross-border infrastructure and efficient trade. Under the Second Republic, the ease of doing business has tremendously improved. I'm not marking my own papers. And the bureaucratic red tape drastically reduced. This has seen us realize unprecedented economic growth and a foreign direct investment, while nurturing entrepreneurship, especially among youth and women-led SMEs and startups. Ladies and gentlemen, regional integration is a cornerstone of our Sadc industrialization agenda and strategy. As such, member states are called upon to fast-track the ratification of our Sadc protocol on industry. Through working together within Sadc and other regional economic communities, we will undoubtedly realize win-win benefits and the African continental free trade area for the shared prosperity of the peoples of our great continent, Africa. In conclusion, as we continue with the 7th Sadc Industrialization Week We look forward to active dialogue and collaboration, as well as concrete trade deals. From a government point of view, after this week-long event, we stand ready to receive observations and recommendations from this forum on the bottlenecks and the possible remedies to accelerate our industrialization drive. Finally, I exhort us to remain vigilant towards growing investments that will spur our industrial development agenda to achieve the SADC we all want. With these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, it is my honor and privilege to declare this 7th annual SADC Industrialization Week officially opened. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Mr. President, if you may just remain at the podium, sir. Mr. President, if you could just remain at the podium, sir, for presentation of gifts for you. So apologies. Thank you. I now call upon the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Minister Ndlovu, and the permanent...
Choose. I want the kettle.
This bag is from one level, SMEs.
This is better.
Your Excellency, Sadc Secretariat Industrialization Department supported the revitalization of the Zimbabwe leather sector. And today, Your Excellency, we are proud to present to you a unique gift, 2 pieces of unique gifts. These are tools of your trade. Your Excellency, as you drive industrialization, the shoes, the safety shoes you saw, they are 16 in number. They are for you and your friends as you tour and commission industrial sites that are going to be distributed. Your Excellency,
EZI President to give us a vote of thanks. Mr. Mucha? Thank you. Please, a round of applause for Mucha.
President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable General Retired Dr. C.G. D.N. Chiwenga, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Colonel Retired K. Mohadi, in absentia, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, all protocols observed. We would like to thank Your Excellency, the Vice President, and the whole government for your leadership and facilitation. For the Industrial Week, we are particularly pleased and proud of our country and our industry, which is on show and which has brought the region together to witness what has turned out to be the largest ever SADC Industrialization Week event so far. We are grateful to SADC member states who have gone to great lengths to bring their companies, products, and organizations here. We thank those who broker or intermediate investments in the region and continent, who are here interacting with business and priming project pipelines. Those include AFDB, Afreximbank, Badia, and all local banks and institutions. AFDB has been very instrumental as the prime sponsor of this week's activities. All other agencies and the Zimbabwe private sector, we thank them for the